Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. I'm Alex, and that right there, that's Stephen Howson. We're going to talk about Manchester United winning the Bangkok Century Cup, that one there, the one with lights and stuff on it, against Liverpool.
What does the button do?
Turns the lights on and the sounds on.
Right.
Light system, sound system, all
it's
that.
It's the most pre-season looking trophy I've ever seen in my
so pre-season, isn't it?
They picked up and gone, fucking hell, I thought it was a stand.
No,
it's the cup.
He doesn't look impressed, Ten Hag, does he?
No.
He doesn't. But anyway.
He's like, fuck's sake, look at
let's
this.
actually talk some football, because for as much as I've seen you going on with Liverpool fans already, them going, you treat it like a cup final, we played our kids and then we brought our first team on, they've not trained very long. Scoring 4 goals against Liverpool, not conceding anything against Liverpool, is always fun. And especially when it's Eric Ten Hag's first match, and especially when we got beat 9-0 last year.
The way that 11 ended versus our 11 ended, on paper, that's the 5-0 we got last year.
Yeah.
Hang on, sorry, what did we play? We played Charlie Savage and Zidane Iqbal at centre mid, right? Against their starting centre mid, essentially. And they had their new £85 million Andy Carroll up front, right? They had Salah on the wing.
Yes. I love that.
Right? Against Tellez at centre half, alongside Malacia, who looked a bit rocky getting forward. Wan-Bissaka, who still don't have a fucking clue what day it is.
Yeah.
And our only centre half is the craziest man to ever fucking lace up a pair of football boots.
And we won.
And they didn't concede. And Tom Heaton in net, right? So don't tell me, oh, we played our kids. Yeah, for fucking half an hour you did. And then, I mean, they had about 26 fucking changes, I think. Yeah. Like, yes, they started with their kids, and we started with what's probably our best 11 that we've got with us, probably, right? Yeah, that's factual. But you were 9-0 better than us last year. And the way the game ended, honestly, I thought it'd probably end up like 3-2, 3-all, to be honest. The way when they started bringing on the fucking Avengers with half an hour to go or whatever. You know, and Salah probably should have scored, and Nunes definitely should have scored, but they didn't.
No.
Not loads of good performances, though, either.
No, there wasn't loads for them. What did you make
From us?
From us?
Yeah.
What did you make
3 or 4.
What did you make of... The first half, obviously, you said that's our strongest team we've got, really.
I think so.
What did you make of... What have you seen of Ten Hag's style or imprint or whatever? What have you seen that's any different? And, you know...
Well, you could tell there was a difference. There was a difference in intensity. There was a difference in the tempo. There was a difference in sort of trying to break lines as the first protocol option every time. Tony Marshall looks leaner, looks motivated. The fact that he scores a goal from pressing, sensational.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the best thing he did.
No.
There was a moment where I'm pretty sure it was Lindelof played a line breaker right through midfield to Tony's feet. He's knocked out his feet. He's got his head up and he's pinged one into the channel for Sancho to run onto. For me, that was the best thing that he did. That's proper fucking football. I like that. It was direct. It was 90s United, if you like.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Ten Hag brings a bit of flavour of. It really reminiscent of mid-90s United. It's very, very forward-facing. It's aggressive defensively. And there's a lot of positives to take from that. I thought Tony was very good. I'm not sure he was quite man of the match. I thought Sancho might have just edged him. I thought Sancho looked fucking hell of a live wire. Marcus looks bright, but not confident.
No, which I think he's going to get. He has
Possibly.
to get into it.
Bruno looks all right. Nothing special, but all right, I would say. McTominay, I mean, Fred's goal was great. McTominay looked like the weak link in that midfield, I would say. Fred, just okay. Great goal. Sensational technique for his goal. Luke Shaw thought was poor. Lindelof was rushing into stuff a little bit. I don't know if that's because of the new thing that Ten Hag has introduced probably to the defence, which is that they engage, which is something that you don't necessarily want your defenders doing. You want your defenders to block off a little bit, but he was rushing in a little bit. He was good apart from that, though. Especially in possession, I thought he was really good.
Yeah.
And Varane just had a Varane-style game. I thought Delot was probably the better of the two right-backs, but it's a low bar. And another positive was De Gea coming off his line and sweeping things up and claiming things, and that's something we can build on. But I think the most impressive performance of all was Zidane Iqbal.
He was...
Best midfielder in red, I would say.
The confidence for that lad. Because, again, the questions on who was playing alongside him, who Liverpool had. To play the passes he did up against Thiago Alcantara, Fabinho and Keita, proper impressive, that.
Yeah. He was cutting off at angles of a real intelligence reading sort of angles. That's Michael Carrick, Paul Scholes sort of vintage of pulling off into the right areas. He wasn't sprinting into him. He was just ghosting into him, and he was collecting him. He's a technical footballer, so he's comfortable, and he's probably played most of his career like a number 10. We know him, obviously. He came down to watch Paddock towards the end of the season, and I was chatting to him a little bit about then what the plan is. Spoke to him about having a big pre-season this season, which he's done. He got in training early. He's got in with private coaches. He's got his nutrition on point, and he's come out and shown where that work has gone with a great performance today. The sort of performance that I genuinely think has been a needle mover for him probably in Ten Hag's eyes, I think.
I think so. I mean, considering the first half we mentioned...
I don't think he's going to start 40 games, by
No,
the way,
I don't think so, but...
he might make himself part of the squad.
That Fred and McTominay partnership, we still think that there needs to be someone that can create alongside him there. Frankie de Jong is the clear one that we're obviously after. He's going to be your one that's going to hopefully play 50, 60. I think they're going to get that over the line. But you also need someone else that can play the cup games and play the Europa League in that position alongside a McTominay or alongside a Jimmy Garner.
Yeah.
And Zidane Iqbal's going, well, I'll do that for you. Go on. And that's what you want to see.
I think you could see the effect of him playing in the Asian Cup on there and maybe having a little bit of the weight of expectation of the whole nation of Iraq on his shoulders. And I think he's got a lot going for him. And we spoke to him about, there's a weight of expectation being like the first Southeast Asian Manchester United player. I've got a lot of fans in that region that are going to go gaga for you, Makola being one of them, right? There's a lot of pressure that comes with that. And one of the lads was saying, that's not very fair though, is it? To have that sort of pressure. I said, don't matter, he's going to have it.
Yeah, that's it.
You've just got it, mate. Who you are, what you've done, where you've come from, you're getting that sort of pressure. So how you cope with that, and I think the exposure to that, give him a taste of perhaps what it might be being in the Manchester United first team. And I think that's helped the transition from him being a youth player into a first team player. He's got a lot of experience with the international team and a lot of expectation on him with the international team. And Hannibal's another one that's getting a similar sort of like settling in period the way Zidane's done. So it might be interesting to see when he starts getting minutes, if he has the same sort of impact, because I think there's a couple of similarities with both of them. They're both very, very confident. They're both very, very technical. They're both a little on the lightweight side. Can they hide that with intelligent movement, touches, releases? You don't want to be going shoulder to shoulder against some of the bigger midfielders in the Premier League because you will get mullered.
Yeah.
But we've seen with the smaller sort of Spanish midfielders, doesn't matter.
No.
If you can evade them, if you can pass it on and retake good positions, which he proved he can do today, I think there's a bright future for him there. And one or two of these kids are going to find themselves in the squad on economics alone. Because there's so many players that have just had to go. On economics alone, some of these players are going to fill in 15, 20 games, most of them off the bench, Carling Cup and the 20 minutes in the Europa League here and there when the game's done. And Zidane's comfortably putting himself in a position to do that. This isn't going to be an instead of Frankie de Jong situation. This is going to be okay, you've impressed on pre-season, we'll continue your development with a dozen games this year.
Now, one player that wasn't there today, wasn't in the squad, is Cristiano Ronaldo. And on Last Fan Standing, they have been talking about how he might fit in at Chelsea, even as a United player. But have a watch of this.
I'd rather have Ronaldo just because it's Ronaldo. I think that there is a lot to be said about the way that he might have necessarily been put down last season at United, even though he was still third or fourth top scorer in the league, which is an outrageous take. Just because he didn't score 30 and Man United were awful, it doesn't mean that he wasn't doing it. And I think the service Ronaldo would get at Chelsea, as long as Chilwell and James stay fit, not saying we created lots of chances last season, we didn't, but then we've gone and bought Sterling now. I think he would absolutely rip it up. I think he'd score 20, at least 20, if he played in this Chelsea team. We create better chances than Man United do. I would love Ronaldo just because it's him.
So right there, they are talking all about how Cristiano Ronaldo, if he gets a bit of service, will score some goals for Chelsea. But as a United player, do you see Ronaldo fitting into this team, coming in and doing that? That's Zidane Iqbal texting Stephen whilst we're on here, by the way, which is a bit mad. Anyway, do you see Cristiano Ronaldo fitting into this team, and where does he fit? Very different centre forward to Tony Marshall. But as he mentioned there in that clip, with the right service, do you think that he's just going to score a load of goals if he comes in again this year, Ronaldo?
I think he's gone.
You think he's gone?
I think he is gone, yeah. Where? Fuck knows, honestly. Chelsea seems to be keen for him. They've just gone in for Koulibaly as well.
Yeah.
I think it's proper situation normal for them, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like, what's
absolutely.
that? Spend all the money? Okay, no problem. So if they get Ronaldo, they'll be very, very potent. I know they've lost some defence. They're trying to strengthen midfield, which is bananas to me because they've still probably got 7 midfielders better than United.
Yeah.
If they bring in Cristiano Ronaldo as well, that's a proven goal scorer. I mean, you're replacing £100 million. What a waste that has been with Lukaku.
Yeah.
Unfathomable waste of money that's been. But Cristiano Ronaldo would comfortably score goals in that team. I think they create a lot of chances. I know the question was, do you think if Ronaldo came in here? And I've already started seeing people in comments already saying, we played the way we played against Liverpool because Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't in the team. I think that's an easy thing to say without necessarily any facts behind it. My personal belief is that he's gone. So I think it's a moot point. Whether or not he would score goals in this team is irrelevant. I don't think he's going to be in this team.
No.
I think we have to replace him with a quickness because even though Tony started brightly, he's an injury-prone player that hasn't really played
He's also
many full
proved that
seasons.
he's not reliable to do this season out.
Yeah.
He's not going to do this, and he might have that. He might have another 2021 season where he scores 20 goals for us without a penalty, and we go mint. But he could also have a season where he scores 4 goals again, and we can't.
You can't gamble on that.
You
going into
can't,
the season.
and City have players that do that, but City don't gamble because they have another 4 of them. You know, Grealish didn't score a lot of goals last season, but Sterling scored, and they just got rid of Sterling, so they brought in Alvarez, and if Alvarez doesn't score, Haaland's going to score, and that's the.
They played
reason.
without a striker and had Gabriel Jesus.
That's the
season.
thing. Whereas United this season, they're going in with at the minute 1 striker going in at this moment if Ronaldo goes. So we've got to figure that out. If you've not already, go and check out that video. The link will be in the description. Go and check out the last fan standing from this video this week. Make sure you comment on it and say Stretford, Paddock, and me and Howson sent you over. So make sure you're doing that as soon as you finish watching this video. But one more performer I have to talk about today, Eric Bailly. Like that second half, he's alongside Alex Telles and Wan-Bissaka, who you've already mentioned. He was back to his utter crazy self with the glimpses.
Flip a coin.
With the glimpses of
Is he going to bury
brilliance.
this into our own net, or is he going to overhead kick this clearance? He's mental.
Yeah.
He's legitimately mental. He's just unfortunate that he can't be relied upon to play 50 games in a season because he's entertaining.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, right? It is about the winning, but it's also about being a bit entertained, isn't it, at the same time? And Eric Bailly is box office entertainment, bar none.
That goal in the second half was just ridiculous. For him to step out of defence.
Well, I was going to say he stepped into defence. He stepped into the final third, essentially.
He just kept going. I bet
Dropping shoulders like, nope.
I bet he was gutted that Palestra was in the way because he wanted to bury that. And he wouldn't have buried it. He'd have put it in Rose's head to throw something up. Yeah.
Someone's going to get knocked off a boat by that if he'd have shot.
Do you think, I think Eric Bailly was very much on that transfer list start of last season. I think there was a lot of people. I think
he probably still is.
Do you think he still is?
Yeah, I think he probably still is. I think if he gets Martinez over the line, injuries permitting, I don't think you need to keep him around. He is entertaining. He is different in every sense of the word to the other centre-halves that you've got. But we have to be ruthless. Stop being sentimental about this sort of stuff. He's been here 7 years. He ain't fit. No. He can't stay fit. Let him go. As much as the entertainment value is there, and it's there, just move on. Let's get back to being ruthlessly reliable and players that we can trust in every sense of the word.
I completely agree. After that game today, anything changed in your mind ahead of what we need, what we're going to do next season?
No, left back's more of a worry than I thought it was, actually. It's one game. I'm not going to write Malacia off too much, but he didn't impress. Okay. And Luke Shaw really didn't impress, and I was hoping... I mean, the entire left side of the pitch, actually, there wasn't a real good performance from anyone, I don't think. It was a bit of a disappointing performance from everyone, I would say, on the left.
Right back, Delo, happy?
No, it's going to be Delo unless they sign someone. I think Wan-Bissaka is on the transfer list. We have took Ethan Laird with us. I'm sure he'll get a run out. Again, it's about can Ethan, can Jimmy Garner, can any... I mean, we didn't mention Palestri or Ahmad or Alanga, and I think they were all pretty flat performances from all of those guys as well. You know, I think I think Charlie Savage was probably a little bit above average. I thought it was a good showing.
Of course, yeah. I think, same kind, not to the level Zidane was, but for him to step in there and do a job. And,
against the opposition he was against.
To the point of, look, he wasn't impressive like Zidane was, but to not have any mistakes up against that team.
What was it? In the forward 6, really, you had Donny van der Beek, who just dropped in an enormous performance. You had Ahmad, Alanga, and Palestri, who Palestri scored, but I think he knew less about it than anybody else on the pitch. The best 2 performers was Zidane and Charlie.
Yeah.
Zidane ahead of Charlie, but Charlie was the next best performance out of that 6. And the rest of those people have all been paid good money by Alanga to be at the club. So I think it's worth noting his performance. But yeah, there was more opportunities required for everyone, I would say.
Yeah.
And Ethan Laird, Jimmy Garner, the rest of them, Hannibal, these guys will get their opportunities.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for joining me, Steve. Thank you for everyone watching. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you're subscribing. And we'll see you in the next one. Laters.